Hi there, lovelies. I'm Rhonda Crimes. I'm a life and leadership coach supporting everyday people just like you to reflect and rework your everyday stories so you can step into the everyday leadership of your families and communities and create compelling, meaningful and fruitful lives every day. There's something quite serendipitous about sharing this guidepost in my vlog edition from Brené Brown's book, The Gifts of Imperfection. By now you know I've been breaking the book up into bite-sized pieces with shorter videos that you can watch or listen to on the fly to help you avoid having to find loads of extra time. I love having both the audio and physical copy versions of the book in my own library. It really is a go-to resource for me. The pages in my book are highlighted with orange and yellow highlighter, and there's post-it notes everywhere. Like you can just see, I've just got so much stuff that I've found in there. And have I mentioned how much I love Brené actually talking to me about this stuff? So today let's talk about the gifts of imperfection, cultivating calm and stillness. Oh my goodness, we are at the 9th of the 10 guideposts. I continue to be amazed how each guidepost overlays and interconnects with the other. They truly are weaving together to form the transformational fabric of wholehearted life that I so want to live. Let's get on with guidepost number 9, cultivating meaningful work, letting go of self-doubt and supposed to. And I'll share now why it feels serendipitous for me. It's because I was having a conversation with my own son about this very thing this past weekend. Now, I'm not going to share the details out of respect for his privacy, but suffice to say, there was very definitely some self-doubt and supposed tos lurking in the background of our conversation. Brené starts off by saying this guidepost got off to a messy and tangled start for her. She says, "It was clear to me that having a wholehearted life included engaging in what many people I interviewed called meaningful work. Others spoke of having a calling or feeling a tremendous sense of accomplishment and purpose from their work. And it all seemed pretty straightforward, except for what she describes as this pesky list of words that emerged as being important and somehow connected. Gifts and talents, spirituality, making a living, commitment, supposed tos, and self-doubt. So she went away and rebuilt the guidepost and shares what emerged. We all have gifts and talents, which when cultivated and shared, create a sense of meaning and purpose. Squandering our gifts brings distress to our lives. She says it's not merely benign or too bad if we don't use these gifts. We actually pay for it with our emotional and physical well-being. We can feel disconnected and weighed down by the feelings of emptiness, frustration, resentment, shame, disappointment, fear, and even grief. Sharing our gifts and talents with the world is the most powerful source of connection with God. Now, you can substitute your word or label for God, but the essence is that many of us spend our time looking outside ourselves for spiritual connection when it lives inside us. Using our gifts and talents to create meaningful work takes a tremendous amount of commitment. Very often, meaningful work is not the thing that provides an income. It can be for some, but most people piece it all together. to do the work that feeds their souls and their families. Like our gifts and talents, meaning is unique for us. No one can define what meaning is for each of us. We alone get to choose, which is often where we hit the bumps and the gauntlet of gremlins, as Brené calls them, that get in the way. This is what I'd call our inner critic. It fuels our self-doubt. You know, the minimising thoughts that your gift or talent really isn't that big of a deal. Or it's not important enough. Or maybe if you haven't found them yet, you probably don't even have any. And if on the off chance you do think you've got a gift or a talent, you won't be good enough to make it. Self-doubt is what undermines the process of discovering and sharing our gifts and talents. Those gremlins or inner critics also feast on the supposed to cries of the perfectionists, the people pleasers, the people trying to fit in and prove their worth to the world. You're supposed to put food on the table, not play at that. You're supposed to go to uni and get a good job. You're supposed to be loyal and stick at what you start. Or sometimes, you're supposed to only work at what you love and don't worry about the money. When we talk to ourselves like this, it's so destructive. So how do we successfully deal with the self-doubt, the inner critic and the supposed to gremlins? Brené suggests we own them. Ignoring them just makes them get louder and find more opportunities to prove themselves. I love that she likens them to toddlers. Write them down so we take our power back. Look at them and say, I get it. I see that I'm afraid of this, but I'm going to do it anyway. The next thing Brené draws our attention to is the what do you do question. In our culture, we're almost universally defined by the work we do. And unless we're doing what we love and it gives us all the meaning and purpose we desire, the answer to that small question can send us into a bit of a tailspin. I know for me, I think I was a daughter first, then a schoolgirl, then I also worked part-time while I was at school, then I left school and I did all sorts of jobs, but I was also then a girlfriend and then a fiancée and still a daughter and then a wife and a mother and a creative, and I couldn't give a simple answer at any stage. I still can't. I'm still a daughter, a sister, a wife, a mother, a stay-at-home domestic goddess, a life and leadership coach, a multi-passionate creative, and a crazy cat woman. How do I choose what to tell which person? This is also why I love the section in the book about slash careers. From the book One Person / Multiple Careers, a new model for work / life success by Marcy Alboher, an author / speaker / coach. We can also really struggle to say what we do if we think we aren't or it isn't living up to a certain enoughness. Like, I generally don't say I'm a housewife because although I do some of that stuff, I'm not that good at it. Okay, it's by choice, I'll admit. And in these current cultural times, it can also be made to sound less than. Although, if someone isn't taking charge of the domestic goddess stuff, the food runs out and so do the clean undies. Overcoming Overcoming self-doubt is all about believing we're enough and letting go of what the world says we're supposed to be and supposed to call ourselves. Let's take a look at this guidepost Digging Deep section, where D is for getting deliberate in your thoughts and behaviours through prayer, meditation, or simply setting your intentions. I is for getting inspired to make new and different choices. And G is for getting going, taking action. Remember also that digging deep isn't about pushing through in the old way. Rather, it's about finding a more healing way with good grace, intention, and thoughtfulness. So, Brené says her D is to create a list of her own criteria for what is meaningful, and then use that as a filter to make decisions about what she will or won't commit to. Her I is Marcy Alberher's book, One Person / Multiple Careers, a new model for work / life success. About / careers. Also, Malcolm Gladwell's book, Outliers, which proposes that there are 3 criteria for meaningful work: complexity, autonomy, and a relationship between effort and reward. And lastly, Paulo Coelho's book, The Alchemist, which helps us to see the connections between our gifts and talents, our spirituality, our work, and how they all come together to create meaning in our lives. And her G is to make a list of what inspires. Don't be practical. Don't think about making a living. Think about doing something that you love. It doesn't mean you have to quit your day job or that your day job can't be meaningful. You get to define that, remember? I'll be back next week to talk about the last guidepost, number 10, cultivating laughter, song and dance, letting go of being cool and always in control. This can set you free. Be sure to check in next week. But in the meantime, if your now isn't the picture that you've painted for yourself and you'd like any help on this discovery path, or maybe something completely different that you intuitively know or feel isn't letting your true colours shine through, then please get in touch with me. You can do it so very easily. Leave me a comment, send me a private message, email me, or go onto my Calendly online diary using the link that I've provided, and we can set up an obligation-free curiosity call and see if we're a good fit for each other. Much love. Until next time.